Hey guys, Math Professor here. So for our first video discussing concept, I want to talk about a concept that I refer to as ABC. What that means is attack, bridge, and clear. And let me explain a little bit about each one of those. So attack meaning be offensive. So if somebody grabs you from behind or gets the jump on you and is able to grab you or push you before you can respond, then we're going to be reactionary in that sense, and we'll discuss that more later. But anytime I have the opportunity or I'm alert and can be more preemptive or proactive with my self-defense, I want to be offensive, meaning that person throws a punch, I want to counter that punch with an offensive technique, not just a block or a parry or a slip or a bob and weave or whatever. I want to be offensive. So when they attack, whether it's a split entry where I parry and hit at the same time, or whether it's knuckle busting when they punch, I throw my elbow into the fist to bust the knuckles, or whether it's a 360 defense like what Krav would use, where I block and strike at the same time to the throat, to the face, or the eyes. The idea is to be offensive at the same time. At the same time they attack, they strike, I strike. They slash, I slash. So with that mindset, what happens is when you are offensive, when they're offensive, and you use a counter-offensive approach, then it makes it extremely difficult for them to counter that. It makes it difficult for them to respond because their thought process is locked in on hitting you or throwing that punch or slashing or thrusting, whatever it is. And so when you use a counter-offensive technique, it's much harder for them to respond to that than it would be if you blocked and then fired back. If you did a 1-2, there's more time involved there for a recovery on their side or for them to respond. So use an offensive or a counter-offensive technique initially right out of the gate. As soon as they attempt to attack you, you respond back with a counter-offensive attack. And try to attack things that are gonna create the doorway in for you quickly, all right? And every technique doesn't have to be a knockout. You need, some techniques are just distractionary techniques that allows you to get in or takes their mind off what's happening just for a moment. Now, the second thing is bridging. Bridging is whenever, we'll make it like this. So if somebody throws a punch and I block that punch, once I connect to their arm, I've created a bridge, a given line that allows me to get in. So bridging, the difference would be if I parry and back up, or if I throw a punch, boom, and I move and I back up, and now I'm in a fight, kind of like a sport. And we don't want to sit there and exchange blows back and forth. What we want to do is create that given line, make them give me a line. And once I do that and I touch the person, whether it's parrying or blocking or whatever, as soon as I can create that given line and that bridge where I connect to the person, I do not want to break that. I want to continue going in. The bridge is how, when that bridge is formed, that's how I get in. For example, if someone were slashing at me, if I parry and let that hand go by, or I evade and let the hand go by, now they can slash any way they want and come at me any way they want, and I don't know. It's just going to be up in the air. But if I can close the gap and connect to that person to where I create a bridge, which is just simply a connection, a given line from my body to theirs, once I create that, then I have a much better chance of being able to control the person or being able to get in and avoid being hit, because I can feel everything they're doing. I can feel how they move their arm. I can feel how they shift their body, and thus making it easier for me to close the gap and get to the last point, which is clearing. Clearing just simply refers to clear the threat. If I were in law enforcement and we were to clear a room, we would clear a room and make sure there's no more threat. Same. So if I go in, if that person attacks and I counter with a simultaneous offensive attack, and then I connect to the person and I stay connected to the person so that there's that bridge there, that given line, then I can take that given line and go straight in to clear the weapon or clear the threat. If it were a knife and I were able to connect and clear, then I could possibly end up in a shoulder lock, for example. Or it could be the fact that I pass through and go to the back and take them out from the back. Or I go through, pass through, grab the head, snatch them down like you might do in Krav or whatnot. So the idea is understanding that I want to be offensive, so I want to attack simultaneously against their offensive attack, so counter offense. And then B is to bridge, create that given line so that you can get in and still be able to kind of control or have a better sense of any response they make. You can kind of respond to it quicker by having that given line, and you can limit the angles of attack that they have at that moment. And then, of course, to finish, to clear, okay, to clear the threat. And again, if that's in a law enforcement background or whatnot, clear it means you got to subdue and control. 90% of the time, you're gonna have to control that person and be able to subdue them. In a self-defense situation, with just your average person, you may not have any need to control the person. It may just be clearing yourself from the threat and creating that window of escape to allow you to get out. So anyway, guys, so first concept is ABC concept: attack, bridge, and clear. All right, guys, peace.